Hey everybody, welcome to Coffee with John. Finishing a series with Michael Knight. Michael, it's been great, connecting with you for the last 2 weeks, talking about optimal health, and what a great way to end this series with a business partner of yours, Jeffrey Smith. Jeff, welcome. Good morning. Talking about your company, Fitwise Inc., and your app Trainer, TRAINNR, which is basically the innovation of you turning your gym into a virtual experience. And so one of the things I think is great is finding the other who's that we need to build our business, right? That is absolutely key. That's how we can build and accelerate faster. So Michael, maybe you can kick off and talk about kind of the transformation of a gym to a virtual gym, and then how you connected with Jeff to create an app.
Well, I'm going to keep it short to get to Jeff, but when COVID hit, I guess I can say this now, but I worked 459 days straight. The second day, we turned our gym into a virtual gym off an iPad, I should say. And majority of my clients, probably 30 to 40% of them, were at home training, snuck some people in, but 40% of my client base is on the iPad as we speak. So I need a break. I said, you know what? This is not the last chapter of my life. I want to go down the book. I searched. No one wanted help. Jeff fell in my lap, and one way or another, we got to each other. And our dream now is to basically take kind of what Beachbody did many, many, many years ago and really take it to another level. And what I mean by that is we got Michael Paul, as you've met, the nutritionist. We have a food company we're looking at. But more importantly, I think people are tired of looking at videos and video screens. So our goal in the next 28 days is to get people to go through our system and actually start training in a virtual gym where they're looking at my clients and they're looking back at us. No matter where we travel, it can be one gym. We can set up gyms all across the country, but I'll let Jeff talk about that.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Yeah, and I think, one thing me and Michael have talked about, we kind of all agree on is, in the current landscape of fitness, especially when you're looking at kind of different digital competitors, there's three things that most companies need to have to be successful. We think most only have two of those three, right?
Yeah.
One is a good technology platform to, empower and make it a seamless connection, transfer that data, transfer that information, easily connect end users, and make it accessible. That second one is, what's the quality of the content? Is it high quality content? Is it easy? Is it engaging? Is it active? And then that third piece, that's the most important piece, when we're talking fitness, is what's the quality of programming? And that's where we think, Michael and his team just knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
Is, if you have those three things, we truly believe we can be super effective. And again, most companies, in our opinion, and we're not trying to dog on anyone, typically only have two of those three.
Yeah.
So how do we separate ourselves is kind of the approach we want to take. And that's why, we kind of created this platform. And backing up a little bit, and a little bit of history of how I personally got to kind of this point is, growing up as a kid, sports and fitness was, a huge part of my life. Played soccer for 11 years, football, all of middle school, high school, rugby in high school, and club at college, baseball, basketball, and, even a little bit of MMA, and it just always was moving, always was active, and obviously doing any and all of those sports, fitness and exercise and weight training is going to be a big part of it. So just kind of having that DNA, kind of built in me from a young age. I've always been passionate about that. And then right after college, I started doing a startup that was a mobile application that was more geared towards, young kids, nightlife and stuff. And very quickly, I kind of found out that, that's not something I'm passionate about anymore. And I want to get more into health and fitness. I was fortunate enough to get connected with some family and friends from Singapore. We started a mixed martial arts training and tracking platform together, 30,000 accounts to date. Still a very great, effective tool if you're in that space. But through that whole process, I got connected with a seven-time Mr. Olympia bodybuilder. He wanted to build his own app. I said yes. And kind of through that 2-3 year process, it really made me kind of open my eyes to that whole fitness space and the technology aspect of the fitness space and just all the different shortcomings that we saw there. So, quickly, me and my former co-founder said, like, there has to be a better way. And that's where we started brainstorming and kind of came up with, why don't we create this dedicated marketplace for personal trainers so that they can easily create, customize, distribute, and monetize their content.
Yeah.
And Michael being one of those, top tier trainers, we're exclusively doing some stuff with him, and we're just super excited with the opportunities there. But, early on, we saw, some of the best trainers from a digital standpoint aren't actually the best trainers from a programming knowledge and quality standpoint.
Yeah.
It wasn't about what they know, what they can do with their clients. It was more about, could they create flashy high-end content and have good marketing materials. So that's where we wanted to kind of level the playing field and create a technology platform that kind of eliminated that friction point and that barrier of entry, and really quickly get other people like Michael, who have the knowledge, who have the know-how, who, his clients and his client testimonials just speak for themselves. How do we get him kind of powered up in that 2021, 2022 type of digital landscape where, studies are showing that 69% of all, fitness participants are going to do some kind of online fitness, right? So you got to have kind of the in-person and the digital all coupled into one, which is what we like to call the hybrid training model.
Yeah, I love it. You said something that I think is really important, which I think is going to be something that, how old, Jeff, can I ask how old you are?
I'm 29.
Yeah. So, the 20 somethings of the world are looking, in my opinion, at everything right now. I think, the 30s, 40s, and 50s are too, but the 20 somethings of the world are, I think, looking at things and saying there's a better way. Right. And so that's what you just said. And they're able, because of how you were raised on technology, to easily figure out what that better way is, that easier way. And so I love that you guys came together to create a better way, because the world is evolving quickly. And I think that's a question in every boardroom for everything that a company does, right? Every company needs to look at something, no matter how great or profitable they are. As a business coach, I'm encouraging that all the time with companies I work with. Okay, this works, but is there a better way? Right.
And one thing talking about these young kids, John, one thing I learned, I wish I learned many, many years ago. I didn't learn until I walked out of my door 7 months ago. You have physically got to knock on doors. They're not going to answer your phone. They're not going to look at your resume. They may, but for all intents and purposes, if you want it, I probably had 20 doors shut on my face, and I own a business for 17 years because everybody in this business, John, has an ego, and it's like, hey, I got my name on the door. I know what I'm doing. I got people coming through the door, but that's where I got, I was, lucky to meet Jeff and his team, and our teams are coming together. As you know, John, you're not going to do anything by yourself.
You can't do anything by yourself, but you bring up a really good point because, it's you got to leave your ego at the door, because today, so I'm going to be 50 this year. And if you in your 40s and your 50s and your 60s and your 70s, never has there been a time where 4 or 5 generations have been within companies. And so the ones that are I think we're going to see really soar through this decade and beyond are the ones that are saying, okay, I'm 50, my business partner is 25. I'm 70 and my business partners, I have 2 business partners, 25, 30, and 40, right? Or 3, et cetera. So it's the brain trust is what you need.
And you all bring something to the table.
Everybody brings it to the table, right? My parents always raised me, you can always learn something from somebody older and younger than you. And that is key. In our last minute together, when are we launching? What are the next steps?
Yeah, so we are about, as Michael said, 28 days away. The platform is live, but we're kind of in this priming phase of getting the right content partners, which Michael being that key kind of component, fired up. And we want to make sure that we do things right and we do it, well. So we're trying to find that nice balance between, getting a sprint to market without kind of overdoing ourselves. And kind of missing some, big things that we want to make sure are smoothed out and ironed out once we start
Very good. Well, we'll have you back on the show. Once it's live, we'll have you back on the show and do a longer show and do a tutorial and all that stuff. But this is a good flavor on you and, how mentorship goes, generation to generation, how innovation is key, no matter how successful you are. And how to listen to the consumer and then move to what they need and want. This has been great. How can people connect with you now just to learn a little bit more if they want to learn more about what you're doing and the app?
Yeah, so best thing they can do is go to trainer.com. That's kind of our landing page for our product. There's a nice about us page that they can learn kind of more about the company, more about our team members. And then, if they want to connect with me on LinkedIn, they're happy to do that. Might be hard to find me through the millions of Jeff Smiths. But I'm sure there's a way you can filter that down.
All right. And it's TRAINNR.com.
Yes. Yeah, it's a little bit of a word play on trainer.
All right. I like it. All right, Michael, anything?
Just be patient. Like Jeff said, we looked at January 1 and everybody in there wanted to hurry up and get something out. And I said, Jeff, we got something that no one else is going to have. Let's walk through it. Let's make sure it's ready. Because once it's released, our goal is to have people train virtually in a gym for the first time.
Yeah, I love it. Guys, I appreciate you both. Thanks for being on the show. And we'll talk again in about 28 plus days-ish. All right.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you both.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.